So yesterday I'm on somebody who I really, really respects page, and she's posted something up about single motherhood. And she posted some facts, some statistics, things that I know is facts, things that anybody who actually pays attention and reads and takes time to study and look at the world around them know that the numbers that she put up is facts. So, she asked for, anybody has any questions or comments or poems, anything that you might want to include in the book that she's writing about the subject. So, I'm like, okay, you know what? I got a few questions that might be interesting that I would like to see asked, from a woman's perspective. So, I'm scrolling down the comments and I read, and like the first comment is like, you don't know any of this, and putting out misinformation into black society, black community, and everything is wrong. Like basically rejecting all the numbers that she put up, like saying that it's misleading and made up numbers. So I'm like, you can't fix a problem. Like, that's the first thing. Before I go into what I want to tell her, the questions I want to relay to her, you can't fix something if you're going to reject that it exists. This idiot, he's comes back, he's not rejecting that there's a problem, he's just rejecting those numbers and made up numbers. And I'm like, yo, do some reading. Like, he's calling for her to put up reference materials, reference information. Me personally, I have put up reference information on those discussions over 100 times. I know I put it up over 100 times in different conversations. I'm tired of it because niggas don't read, and that's the major problem. They hear how bad something is, and because they don't like the number, they reject it. But based on absolutely nothing except they did not like it. Did you like how many people are having out of wedlock children? No, I don't like that number. Give me some source material for it. Like, you're not gonna read the source material anyway. And even if you read the source material, you're not going to do anything but reject that source material, no matter how deep. I've seen people look up and they say, well, you show me the source material because I don't believe the numbers. Then you show them the source material and they're like, oh, well, that's a white ran organization. Like, that's the Department of Human Resources, of Human Services, Health and Human Services. Or that's the Department of blah, blah, blah. That's the U.S. And so that's something, or that's a study from a college, that's a white college, and, they're misleading the information. It's like you're going to reject the sources. Like, you could put up 10 different sources that have absolutely nothing to do with each other, and these same people will sit around and reject it because what they're looking at, they don't like. If only the numbers were less. If only it wasn't 72% single mothers running around here. If only 59% of women with kids didn't have 2 baby daddies, then if it was less than that, if it was a number that they could be okay with, if it was 29%, buddy, if it was 29%, there would be less need to really jump on the situation. But my thing is that he didn't have any of the information that you would think somebody would need to have to combat and say that you are giving out misleading numbers. Like, if you're going to say that she was giving out misleading numbers, okay, what misleading numbers is it? What is the numbers? And he's like, I don't know. That is completely, that's why you have a lot of black men getting disrespected, and black women don't want to have you in a leadership role. It's like you're good enough to be there with, you're good enough for the relationship, but when it really comes to handing over the steering wheels of their life to you, they pause and stop. And I see women who are married to black men, married, have lives, have homes, but when it really comes down to giving him the steering wheel of her life, man, she ain't with it. And that's why you're already judging something as being misleading and wrong, and you don't even know the numbers. If her numbers were wrong, if they were vastly wrong and off, then what are they? Like, apparently you know the right numbers enough to know that they are wrong. Like, you know the right ones. But nothing on the right numbers. He gave nothing on the right numbers. Which goes right into, how can you have black women ready to follow your leadership? Like, nobody's gonna follow your leadership when you always calling things out wrong. And even if they're wrong, you can't really say that they're wrong because you don't have the correct material to know that they're wrong. That's sort of like saying, somebody telling you that, hey, it's raining outside. They just came inside. They tell you that it's raining outside. You hop up, it's not raining outside. But you don't even have any information. Like, you haven't even looked out the window to know that it's not raining outside. And you're telling everybody that it's not raining. And then these are the same black males who think like, we should be leadership, then black women should follow black men. Like, this is the same guy that's going to give the speech to women about following his leadership. But he has absolutely no information to lead. Like, leading is not just about I'm in charge. Leading, like, you have to know information. Like, if you're going to move a woman to an entirely different city, entirely different state, you have to know what you're going to do there. You have to know what she's going to do there. You're going to have to know where you're going to live, how much it's going to cost for you to live, the crime rate, the education rate. You're going to have to come up with something instead of, let's just move to Atlanta. It's like I live in Miami and I say, I look over at my woman and be like, hey, let's move to Miami. Let's move to Atlanta. And she's like, okay, what are you going to do in Atlanta? I don't know, I'm going to find a job. And she's like, what am I going to do in Atlanta? I mean, you going to find a job too. We two educated people. We going to find jobs up there. Well, where we going to live? Well, it's a place over here. We going to find, they got homes and everything. They got apartments. We can live in an apartment and everything. We going to get up there. We going to go. We moving like next month. And she's just going to pick up her whole life, leave her career. And she's going to look at me and say, really, dumbass, you going to leave everything that you doing down here. All your business, everything that you doing down here, you going to move to Atlanta. You ain't give no thought about how you going to move everything that you doing here, how you going to move it to Atlanta. You ain't thinking nothing about where you going to live, the school systems, having kids, and like nothing. You just going to pack up and move. And then when she really looks and says, hey, you a dumbass, then I'm like, oh, well, black women don't want to follow black male leadership. Dude, I didn't present that woman with anything that she should follow. And this is the type of guy who does not present any woman with anything to follow. Because it's all soulfully, that's not right. I don't like it, so it can't be true. So how's that going to better women? Like, how do you combat it? And then I showed him I showed them a Google search. Like, I took a picture down and showed the Google search, showing that the very first statistic that she put up was factually true. Do you know this ass clown idiot actually still rejected that. I mean, what do you got now? I have to also say this dude. I did my research into him. The dude is from California, and we all know about California black males. Like, damn, I feel sorry for the women out there. Like, of course, the women out there in California are doing their own thing because you got males like this running around. Like, this guy is going to reject anything that you see. And it's the same people that are like, you read it on Facebook and that doesn't mean anything. And I'm like, buddy, I read this from other reports. Like, I've seen it before. Like, that's how uninformed black people are, because this is something that I personally have been talking about for years with people, and I know people that have been talking about it, and I'm constantly seeing people talk about things that a lot of us have been talking about for years, and they're like just straight out new to it. And it's like, you have to keep rewinding some things, and it's, going back and, backtracking to things and re-talking about them over and over again, because some people just like, they're just getting on board, and, in 2 or 3 months, there's going to be some new people that are just going to be getting on board, and, every few years, have even more new people just getting on board. And you're going to have people trying to derail everything because they don't know it. And the first thing that they do when they see information is, their first thing is to reject it. But I've always noticed that the first thing in rejecting the information that they want to do is, it's only black. For the most part, it's black. Like, if he had seen this same thing on some white person's page or a white, he would just took it as, oh, I guess that's true. I mean, because I know this, because you see black males, you see black people in general that like take things that are factually not true, take it from white people without even checking it as true. But as soon as a black person gives you some information, they're like, nope, that's not true. And then it takes tons of information to even get them to say that you might have a point. They don't even look up and be like, hey, well, yeah, you know what, you're right. They'll just spend time rejecting it. I just looked at dude, like, apparently, I have a youthful look. And the guy was like, oh, I was writing my thesis, man. The guy's like a few years older than me. Like, this is how stupid it is. Like, to him, being older than me, like, even if I was 20 years old, because I guarantee he looked at my picture and he thought, man, this guy's like 19, 20, 21 years old, man. And I'm like, nope, I'm in my mid-30s, bro. Like, I'm on my way to 40. That's just how young I look. But yeah, then still, he's sitting there. And it's sad, because that's what the civil rights generation really does. Like, that whole generation does the same thing. Like, we're older and you should listen to us because I'm older than you. Like, that don't mean anything because you're older than me. So what the hell is that supposed to mean? Like, I'm in my 30s.